Hello friends, this is Thought and Life by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, a book that is the reason for our encounters. 30 days of inner journey, your thought is your life. How about that? Many people want to transform and change their lives, and Emmanuel shares through this book the directives that are used in the spiritual realm to lead us into this beautiful opportunity of changing habits. The habits of thinking, the habits of feeling, the habits of speaking, and the habits of actions, right? And here we are today. It's day 22. And believe it or not, chapter 22 is about guilt. What? Guilt. A topic that is very difficult to talk about, but necessary. But we're gonna talk in a therapeutic way, like Emmanuel does. And we're going to lead this therapeutic conversation led by Emmanuel in the highest tone, not so we feel guiltier, but on the contrary, we know the way out of it. Okay? Let me say hi to our beautiful community here before we actually start the study and the therapeutic exercises that can be provided through the feeling experiences of the scriptures that are given to us now. Okay? Hello, Jussara. And hello, Léa, Adilson, Melissa, Rita de Cássia, Karina, Patrícia, and Tiago, and Rihanna, Sol, hello, Karina. You're funny, Karina. I'm just the reader. Hello, Constance. Heavy topic, but after this beautiful peace signs and the hearts, Constance, we're good to go, right? Leah, Valéria. Hello, Luciana and 20 somewhere there, Luciana. Right. Thank you, Valéria. It's much easier to study ourselves and to go through these exercises in the feeling of community. It's beautiful. And Emmanuel shares with us in the introduction of this book, and I'm going to read it again. It's never too much. He clearly says here to us, and in this introduction, written February 11th, 1958. Okay? This request, the request that people asked, brought to mind the simple series of spoken directives we use here in our work, instructions given in our schools of regeneration to those preparing for a new birth during their span of existence between the grave and the cradle. Friends, schools of regeneration in between incarnated lives, so we can boost it up, prepare ourselves to live better. Okay? So, guilt. Do you feel guilt or do you not? It's very interesting. Emmanuel, as a wonderful educator, he begins straight to the point, and I tell you, if you give up now, after this sentence, you're good, because you got the most important message. We develop guilty feelings whenever we avoid fulfilling our duty. This then leads to various shades of remorse that thereby activates an infiltration of darkness within the delicate tissues of our soul. While repenting, the mental reflexes undergo painful, haunting experiences which slowly drip poison into our thoughts, In turn, this poison emits a pollutant produced by our inner life that then affects the spiritual atmosphere of our home. Like a magnet field, every creature has a halo or aura of creative and destructive forces. This halo determines its own qualities by the invisible rays it projects. We also establish our invisible links through affinity with this halo. Since mental waves operate under the principle of electricity, we begin to assimilate through these waves the depressed influences which emanate from the thoughts of both incarnate and discarnate beings. They attune themselves to us through our actions and influences. We project devastating energies through guilt and depression. Moreover, we often harbor silent anger that projects our sorrow against ourselves into displeasure and dislike towards others. The reason for these negative views expressed by others are the result of the guilt reflexes that whirl around us and are quickly incurred by the indisposition of others. They bring over to us silent messages of rebellion, discouragement, anguish, and despair that fluctuate around our psychic atmosphere. We then become rebellious people in society, wanting either to be alone or create a scandal. This mental state causes us to feed our imagination with morbid sensations of our own guilt. In this negative attitude, and lashed by the vibrations of our sickly thoughts, we reach a partial or total physical collapse. Our body and soul develop complicated illness whose diagnosis elude classical pathology. The guilt feelings with all their disturbances will continually reflect upon areas of the body and soul corresponding to the type of remorse we carry. Likewise, neglecting one's duty also causes painful results, demanding restitution with each incarnation. Therefore, guilt requires a readjustment with true humility in order to attain a quick settlement. This act of humility preserves our vibratory balance, thereby avoiding a disturbing series of long, reparative work. This is why Jesus advised us not only as a divine master, but also as a wise physician, to reconcile with our adversary while we're still with him on the path. Jesus taught us how to find happiness that is based on pure love and unlimited forgiveness. Wow. Ooh, wow. What a gift. If other chapters were heavy, this may sound beyond heavy. It's a gift. Finally, we're given a very straightforward recipe. You know, just to make it feel like a little lighter. This book, you know, like those cooking books for those who cook, because people who don't cook, they don't have cooking books. But I tell you, it's so much fun to learn to cook. Nowadays we have the apps, tablets, but when you have a cooking book, you display it like this and you go through the recipe. The recipe is here. We want to cook a cake that is going to be an antidote to guilt. We found it. We got the recipe. And you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 paragraphs. That's it. 10 paragraphs that summarize it all. Yeah, 10. Just make sure. 10, 10, 10. 10 paragraphs that summarize it all. First, the definition. Second, the mechanisms, the repercussions of it all, and then solution, prevention, remediation. What a beautiful topic, a topic that is most needed, and especially in the current times. Always, because we're humans, we don't need to talk about this to animals because it requires consciousness to actually incur into guilt. It's for humans. Angels don't need it, so this book is for us. I'm human, you're human. I'm not an angel. If you are, that's wonderful, so you don't need it. You just double check if we're going to the right direction. Animals don't need it because they don't incur mistakes. But we do. Before we go through, let me say hi to our friends. Everybody so kind and loving. Felipe, I know Rita Di Cassia, we sometimes feel guilty. Katia, very powerful topic, Rita. Angelita, hello my friend. Marco, hello Marco, great topic he's saying, perhaps one of the most serious spiritual and psychological problems in humanity. You're right. Guilt is the problem. The problem. It freezes us from evolving because we naturally want to be more than God. Naturally. At the level of evolution we are, we want to be more than God. We want to punish ourselves, and we create obstacles, stagnating in guilt. No good. Okay? No good. Right? Hello, João Bosco. Hopefully the video is going on here, so all right. Please confirm, friends. So here we have definition. We develop feelings of guilt whenever we avoid fulfilling our duty. Do we know our duties? The chapter before this one talked about duty being submitting ourselves to the divine laws, right? And we don't. Thank you, Melissa and João Bosco. Thank you for confirming. But we don't. Why? As Kardec learns and then shares with us in the Spirit's book, first chapter of part 3 of the book, The Divine and Natural Laws, he shares with us that most often than not, we're going to either ignore the laws or we're just simply going to forget, okay? Forget about it. So it's very important for us, very, very important, to ask, what can we do to be more compliant? What can I do to be more aware? What do you think? What do you think can be done? Instructing ourselves and practicing it. Because our lives are twofold. There is a vertical line and there is a horizontal one. The horizontal, our instruction. The vertical, it's when we, through the practice of love in action, we connect. So we need this bifold action. Bifold action. We need to instruct ourselves. We need to read the manual. The manual of our lives. The constitution of our souls, as our dear mentor Joseph reminds us, and he has been saying this all along, it's a constitution, how we work, how we function, our part in this universe. We need to learn. And then, of course, as Patricia is mentioning, meditation can be the pathway also for us to know more about ourselves. But we need to understand how the laws work. But what is interesting here, he's going to talk about features of guilt we've never heard before, probably. He says, these feelings of guilt will lead us to shades of remorse. Shades in the sense of different gradations. It depends on the intensity of the guilt. In the intensity of the mistake and the awareness of this mistake. And these gradations of remorse. And then it's going to activate, because everything is vibration. If you feel guilty, it's not like, oh, I'm feeling guilty. It means that you, if you visualize yourself as a spiritual flame, like vibrating, emitting, your vibrations have colors. They have frequency. And as André Luiz describes in a book that is yet to be published in English, Mechanisms of Mediumship, we emit those vibrations. So we activate what he's saying. By doing this, by feeling guilt, we activate an infiltration of darkness within the delicate tissues of our soul. Why do we activate this infiltration? Because it's like you're inside of your boat and you're using a heavy paddle. Inside of your boat, against itself, cracks, and then infiltration from underneath. In a way, self-sabotage due to our own ignorance. Before an obsession is established, we actually obsess ourselves. So, duty not fulfilled, not submitting ourselves to God's laws, creates guilt, develops guilt, and this developing guilt has different gradations of remorse that is going to open us, make us vulnerable to the infiltration of what? When he says darkness, he's talking about the absence of light, which is simply the opposite of everything that comes from God. Absence of light, absence of goodness, absence of love. And absence of all of this means the opposite, which don't exist. But it's as if I put myself in a dark place. Guilt and darkness. Guilt and darkness. I close myself. How many people do you know, have you met, who feel, it feels to us they are encapsulated. They're in a cocoon, and they are. It's the story in the book Torments of Obsession by the spirit Manuel Filomeno de Miranda. The book's not published yet. It's through Divaldo Franco de Medium. But the chapters have been published for years in the Spiritist magazine in English. And there you're going to find the case of Evaldo, a man who became a politician and forgot the sacred duties of the family, forgot the sacred duties of public administration, fell trapped to the temptations of ignorance. When he realized that he lost his wife, he became truly depressed. When he discarnated, he was completely encapsulated in a cocoon of guilt. Literally, his spiritual body was energetically surrounded by the energy he produced of guilt. So when you feel guilt, it's imprisoning us, Emmanuel is saying. And when you repent, the mental reflexes, he's talking about the mechanisms. I did something wrong. I repent. What happens? These mental reflexes of repentance undergo painful, haunting memories, which slowly drip poison into our thoughts. Does it mean we shouldn't repent? We should what? Not stay stuck in repentance. Otherwise, we'll be poisoning us. If you keep telling to yourself, it's my fault, I did wrong, it's my fault, I did wrong years ago, and I did wrong, and I did wrong, and I did wrong, we're poisoning us. Self-punishment. Right on, Marco. Okay? It's sad, but it happens to us. In turn, this poison emits a pollutant produced by our inner life and then affects our spiritual atmosphere at home. So he's talking about the mechanistics of it all. I don't submit myself to God. I try to be more than God. That's what Emmanuel says in previous chapters. And then, because I do so, I naturally have an inner judge, our own conscience, that says, not approved, stamp, boom. Can you imagine if you go through a whole day saying, not approved, not approved, not approved, not approved, not approved? That's why sometimes people have a hard time moving forward, because all they have is this non-approval. Boom, boom, boom. First, we need to stop this, the banging of non-approval. How? By practicing self-kindness. Kindness. How kind are you towards you? How kind are you? Scale 0 to 10. 0 being not kind at all, and 10 being I'm very kind to myself. How kind are you? How important it is that we cherish kindness. Kindness. Thinking beautiful things about yourself. You and I have a list of things to do, like the to-do list of this reincarnation. You have a to-do list in this reincarnation, so do I. But being depressed about it, feeling guilty, it's not going to help. So how do we deal with it? Self-kindness. By singing! No, I'm joking. It's just to cheer us up a little bit. Not kind at all, Monica, but you're adorable. Yes, saying to yourself, don't be shy, let it shine, right, Karina? Don't be shy to yourself first. Sometimes we're shy with others because we're shy to ourselves. Be silly a little bit with you. Why not? Look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know, you're adorable. Adorable spirit. We should have mirrors right now and tell ourselves, adorable spirit. I know Carol Correa is here. And thank you, Karen Mark, for being together with us. And yes, let us, I know Adilson, we love Monica too. Let us tell ourselves, I am adorable. I am adorable. Do you think only babies are adorable? And then we grow up, that's why it's depressing to be an adult for some people. Like, We're adorable when we're little, and then when we grow up, we're not adorable. The potential of being adorable is everlasting. Look at people like Divaldo Franco. He can be so youthful, so adorable. And the Dalai Lama, remember how funny he was. Thank you, Carol. I remember how funny the Dalai Lama was in our neuroscience meeting in 2006, and talking to his translator and all the neuroscientists. He was so adorable. Chico Xavier, so adorable, so funny. There are some videos here and there showing him reading this very simple and uncomplicated verses dictated by some spirits, very like popular, close to the popular hearts. And he laughed. This lightness of being we need to cultivate, right? Being adorable. You are an adorable spirit. Let's cherish this. Okay? Don't be shy. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine, adorable spirits. Right? And you know, today I was teaching something to a child. And this child talked about a dinosaur. Oh, you want me to draw a dinosaur? Okay, dinosaur. The dinosaur is running after the kids. And I said, you know, suddenly the girl said to the dinosaur, "Dinosaur, remember we were friends once?" And he was like, no. Remember? No. So she used the trick she learned with Adeilson Salles' hummingbird, the kissing hummingbird. You can listen to the story Cardiac Radio for Kids. We have at cardiacradio.com. Just click Cardiac Radio for Kids. Go to the one of the tabs and it says Kissing Hummingbird, Karen Mark Correa. They read this beautiful story to kids, and it says that the child turned to the dinosaur and gave him a kiss. He felt so loved, so loved, so loved. He became friendly. And you know, to all the people who have some resistances against us, let's send them a mental kiss. And say, you know, it's just a waste. Because you know, we're destined, and you can send that thought to them. Send them a beautiful thought. We're destined to be friends. We're destined to be companions in life, to be collaborators, co-creators, united co-creators in life. Invest in the good. That's investment for the soul. You know, we talk about money investments, but here we have investment of the soul. A millennial investment that is worthwhile really spending time on it. Visualize. Yes, there is a song Mark and Karen reminding me, you know, in the book. Yeah. You know, it's first in Portuguese and then in English, because Adeilson published in Portuguese, so say in Portuguese. Sou beijinho, beija-flor, levo a vida a beijar, beijo as flores com amor, la 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 la. And then you can kiss. Mark and Carol made a song in English, and if I recall, it's the English version of it, and it says, I am the kissing hummingbird, hummingbird, hummingbird. I live my life to kiss. I can't withhold the kiss. Something of the nature. Sorry, Mark and Carol. I am a kissing hummingbird. Hummingbird, hummingbird. I live my life to kiss. Right? And then Carol Correa, she's telling me here, texting the letters, the lyrics, because I probably forgot. But that's something for us to invest. No, we're not playing here. If you're thinking, man, what is this singing all about? I kiss all the flowers and I cannot withhold a kiss. Friends, this singing, it's to help us feeling, okay? As a neuroscientist and a psychologist, I've come to study in these pathways of neuroscience how music can really, really, really impact our brains, our nervous system. It's a way. And then only with Leon Denis, when you study Spiritism in the Arts, you get to know a book that is not yet in English, but it's a must. It's a must. Unique. He talks about how everything is vibration, how music really is the direct connection with the soul. But not any music. It has to be a music that is meaningful and opens, permeate, that creates permeability inside of us. So when we're singing here, we're smiling, because Jesus is a smiling master, and he taught us to smile, to live a light life, but at the same time, to boost this feeling. How we're going to boost the feeling of the scriptures? Sing is a good way, not the only way though, but it's a good way, right? Yeah. And yes, Rita Di Cassia, did you like it? The singing hummingbird, hummingbird. And then Tiago, you're a musician, you're right. I vote for Sing too. And they have to be super positive, he's saying. Love-filled, uplifting songs, so to improve our vibrational level through repetition of those thoughts. Thank you, Tiago. Thank you. Let's stay in touch. Okay? Let's stay in touch. We need to learn from you. Okay? Art, as Melissa is saying, can help heal deep wounds, and that's so true. And Andrea Torres, dear friend, I'm going to reply to your message, okay? And then thank you. Listening to music, you feel happy, exactly. And like Tiago is saying, like the finale of Beethoven's Ninth, the Ode of Joy, to Joy, right? You're right. We hummed it the other day. And Jesus used to sing because he was Hebrew and they used to sing the Psalms. So we better get ourselves there. We better get it. After all, we're talking about guilt, but we need to go back here. So when we stay in repentance, our mental emissions, let's say mental reflexes, will slowly put drops of poison in our thoughts. And this pollutant in our inner life is going to affect our spiritual connections. Who is going to be connected to us? Then our aura is going to, instead of creative forces, is going to emanate destructively. Yes, and this will play the principle of electricity, as he says. And we're going to assimilate depressed influences that are emanated by others, incarnates and discarnates. Sincerely, in these days we're living in, Mentor Joseph said, stop reading a little bit about the many news, just for these days. Why? Not because we want to be alienated, but because sometimes the strategies of the lower spirits is to make us focus so much in the bad and in fear that they are imprisoning us. Don't go there. Our guilt is going to allow the infiltration. We're not superhumans. I'm not, you're not. Don't go there. I mean, read if you can, but if you think like you can't, he told me, Vanessa, stay away a little bit. Help with thoughts, prayers, but Don't meditate too much about it now. Okay, friends? And we attune ourselves through our actions and influences. So we're no victims. We're not victims of the obsessors. We're not victims of those who want us to fail. We're not, because we attracted it. Responsible. We need to be responsible. We project devastating energies through guilt and depression. There will be a day on the earth, says our dear mentor Joseph, that unlike more evolved planets, we're going to be environmentally friendly with our thoughts and emotions. We're living at a time on the earth in which we are learning materially to be environmentally responsible and friendly. But the greatest frontier of all is to learn our responsibility in the emissions of our thoughts and feelings. Not only words and actions, but also words and actions. But go to the source. Thoughts, feelings, and thoughts. So next time I allow myself to be sad, say, oh, but I have the right to be sad. Yes and no. Yes and no. You have the right, but you shouldn't. Because you're not only complicating yourself, but you're complicating the energies. The sum of the thoughts of your house, of your network. You want an example? Practical. Facebook. If you put something very depressing there, how many people in your network are going to be affected? Thank you, Carol Correa. Environmentally friendly thoughts and feelings. Feelings come first. Because they are the ones that are going to generate thoughts. And then from thoughts, attitudes, etc. Feelings. No wonder Joana de Angelis says in the book Happy Life, we must be happy. It's not only a right, it's an obligation. Because if we are not, we're creating obstacles for others. Don't be shy about embracing yourself as a happy soul. You're happy. What can you do but to be happy? Be happy not because everything's perfect, but because you're a child of God. You can't resist but to allow yourself to be embraced by these vibrations. Right? Love is love. And I allow myself to be loved by God and to be loving. Moreover, we often harbor a silent anger that projects our sorrow against ourselves into displeasure and dislike towards others. Now we're learning something we've never thought before. When we feel guilt, we emit these devastating energies, says Emmanuel, and we feel it's as if we're emitting a bad smell, an odor that is bad. And we feel like, angry. I want to smell good. I want to smell like a flower, right? And I feel angry. But then what happens when I am angry at myself because of my guilt? I naturally project those sorrows against myself towards others. It's when I start looking at others and Ah, I don't like you. I don't like you. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm just helping us feel the scripture. Okay? We need sincerely to go back. So the reverse is true. If I'm constantly disliking people, not having pleasure around people, not enjoying people's company, not seeing the good, it's a sign that I'm so immersed in the swamp of my guilt. And I'm so disgusted about myself being the swamp of guilt that I need, literally, I need to push people away. I'm feeling like Shrek, the ogre. You remember at the beginning, the first movie, he didn't like himself. He didn't like himself. It's the Shrek feeling. When you feel guilty, visualize Shrek. You know the movie, The Green Ogre? Yeah, he became cute. But before being cute, everything, there's cute everywhere. But before being cute, he felt this immense disgust and he pushed people away. So when we feel guilty, we're like Shrek. We are in this swamp of guilt, devastating energies, and we see everything so muddy. We push people away. What for? We don't evolve if we stay in the swamp, if we stay pushing people away, isolating ourselves, we don't evolve. So guilt, no purpose. Right? Tiago is mentioning to us, my friends at Quattro, a Los Angeles bass pop classical quartet, wrote this song which always makes me super happy. Perhaps it will help someone else. Thank you. I want to watch it as soon as I'm done, Tiago. Thank you for sharing it. It's so important. When you are an expert in the field, thank you so much. And you're right, Manny. Environmentally friendly posts are so important. We need to be conscientious. We need to know that what we feel is affecting people in our lives. Oh, but I'm sad. I want to be by myself. But remember, you're becoming a pollutant in our home, in our society. And then we're talking about people who are creating problems, and who are we? What are we doing? Similar or worse, because we know this and we're not practicing. Worse, right? Worse. Because some people out there don't know of this. But we know. You want to be Shrek? No? Cute Shrek. We're Shreks. Sometimes we are. But there is always, thanks to these movies, there is always a way out. Okay? We're no Shreks, right, Melissa? No. The reason for these negative views expressed by others are the result of the guilt reflexes that whirl around us and are quickly incurred by the imposition of others. They bring over to us silent messages of rebellion, discouragement, anguish, and despair that fluctuate around our psychic atmosphere. We then become rebellious people in society, wanting either to be alone or create a scandal. Do you understand now why many people also they end up being mass shooters? Yes. That is just the end of a tragic story that has many people involved. Many. Not only in this life, previous lives, discarnates and incarnates. But I see, for example, many parents who bully their kids. And we think it's not bullying. But it is bullying. When you laugh about your child in front of your child and your child is small and doesn't understand what it means. Because when they're too small, they can't process our laughters and our quick breakdown of the considerations we're making, and for them it sounds like they feel the vibrations. They don't understand much of the words. It's bullying. It's aggressive. Comments, teasing them because they are learning motor skills. They're learning to pronounce words. And it's so funny how many adults I've seen who temporarily being parents or educators just because the children are learning those skills, they feel better than the kids. I will never forget, I was in a playground one day. There was a 3-year-old. It was like 2 summers ago. And this mother was talking to another. They both had daughters. They were in the swing. And then they were talking. And then we all ended up in the slide. I didn't know them. I was just around. And I overheard the story. And I was like about to say something to her because I could tell she had an issue with the child. And I felt, oh man, it's so hard for a mom who doesn't understand and she feels this rejection towards the child. But then she turned to in front of the child, telling the other mom, you know, I think she's autistic. And as a psychologist and neuroscientist, I could tell the girl was, she was far from being autistic. I know. And I even told her pediatrician in front of the girl. I told him. And he said, okay, if I don't do the test, you're not going to be satisfied, right? And she said, yes. He did the test, and she was not diagnosed with autism. The battery of tests, of course. And she wasn't satisfied. She said, you know, I'm going to prove that he was wrong. And then the girl was waiting for the other friend to go down the slide, and she waited a little longer. The mother, who was not even paying attention to the girl, just turned to the girl and said, you're too slow. Come on, slide down. Your friend is already here. So it's that judgmental nature. And I'm not judging the mom. I'm just observing how we moms need to be very considerate. The child, be compassionate. Imagine an independent spirit being temporarily dependent, fully dependent on adults, imperfect adults. Compassion. And that's why we have children, to learn patience, to learn compassion. Because if we don't have those skills with the ones who supposedly we love, who are we to practice with others? Right? So we receive these silent messages of rebellion, discouragement, anguish, and despair. And then depending on our level of spirituality, of evolution, we display this rebelliousness in society. And we either want to be alone or create a scandal. That's exactly what's happening to our youth. That's exactly what's happening to our youth. And then these young mass shooters, out of the blue, who are alone, creating scandal. They and many others were involved in the scenario. 2 realms. Guilt. There is I will tell you about this once we finish this part here, okay? In this negative attitude and lashed by the vibrations of our sickly thoughts, lashed. It's like a whip. Guilt is a whip. Creating these wounds. we reach a partial or total physical collapse. It's going to show up in our physical. Our body and soul develop complicated illnesses. So he's talking about the effects. If we keep feeling guilty, the body's going to manifest. And sometimes you go to the doctor, they don't understand what it is. Because it's mind producing the perispirit, and science doesn't know it all. Yet. And he says, the guilt feelings with all their disturbances will continually reflect upon areas of the body and soul corresponding to the type of remorse we carry. So he's talking about gradations of remorse and types of remorse, different types. How much more do we need to know? A lot. He doesn't even disclose gradations and types. He just mentions. So you and I know that there's a lot more to learn. Gradations of remorse, types of remorse that create these mental reflexes and crack the energy, the balance of our energetic body, and through this infiltrations we start being impregnated by these vibrations of others. Likewise, neglecting one's duty also causes painful results, demanding restitution with each incarnation. So friends, not only the effects shower upon us, but affecting others. And we're going to need to repair both, and sometimes in different incarnations. And he says incarnation, not reincarnations, because not necessarily it's going to be in the same planet. It means that it's going to need the flesh of the body, the physical body, to expunge those vibratory nodules that Andre Lewis describes in the book Evolution into Worlds, which is in English but yet to be published in as a full book. We'll wait, but it's already translated since 2012. Andre Luiz discloses that our morbid predispositions, meaning predispositions to illnesses, they begin when we incur in a grave mistake. Our conscience does block the flow of that memory, and through that stagnation we create nodules of disturbance in the spiritual body that will be expunged through a new incarnation. Meditation helps. But, as Emmanuel says in chapter 33 of the book Living Spring, words do not suffice, we need action. Action, action, action. Loving action, loving action, loving action. May we ask one therapeutic question in this journey? One therapeutic question. Words and action. Percentage-wise, I know it's a complicated question, but it's possible. Complicated in a way, but could be straightforward. Words and actions. How much of you is still words, promises? How much of you is already ideas? Both will give us 100%. How much percentage-wise do you think you are more words than actions? Or more actions than words? What do you think? We need good actions, right, Melissa? Constance, that's funny how we find ours. You're always sharing so much. Oh, you know, friends, me I am just like you. I have my moments, I have my things, but I tell you, the more we study this, the more we do good things, the more we surrender to God, the happiness increases. It's incredible. The more I tell my to-do list, you know what? My to-do list is God's list. Doesn't mean I'm not going to pay my bills. I'm not going to do my tasks. I will, but I will feeling it that this is not the ultimate goal in life. What is my ultimate goal? Love. Today we were singing, Virginia and I, love is in the air. Dun, 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 dun. Love is in the air. Everywhere look around. Love is in the air. In every sight, in every sound. La 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 la. And love is really everywhere in the air. Because God is love. You're a child of God, you're love. I am love. Everyone is love. Animals and plants. So it's love, love, love. Love is in the air. Right? So when we start feeling that, my to-do list, let's do it again one more time so we feel it. Okay? My to-do list. Yeah, this is actually a to-do list. Done. Is God's list. My to-do list is God's list. That's it. And I need to do what God wants me to do. And I go where God wants me to go. But I fulfill what I need to fulfill. We're here, 11 p.m., thanks to God, every day. I was counting today. We are going to complete this. It's going to be 82 days straight. Not missing a single day. Why? Because that's the plan. We fulfill it. Why? I don't know. My to-do list, not mine any longer. Right? Exactly. Finally, Mr. Happiness is here. He is the happy one. He is our guide and model. Jesus is Mr. Happiness, and he is the one that is going to guide us through prevention, remediation of guilt. So guilt requires a readjustment. So if you are asking, what do I do? Emmanuel is going to tell us now as we wrap up. Guilt requires readjustment with true humility in order to attain a quick settlement. So Emmanuel, very kindly, thank you very much. He's giving us a recipe. If you put this with this, boom, cake. Cake. Not gluten-free, dairy-free, everything-free, calorie-free. Okay? Cake. What is the cake? No guilt. True humility. And you're wondering, but what is humility? Chapter 24. Yeah, in 2 days we're going to talk about it. But humility, he says here, he says, preserves our vibratory balance. And what is humility? Let's break it down quickly here. It's when I know that I'm a child of God. I'm not God, I'm a child of God. That's it. You feeling it? I am a child of God. I am a child of God. And feel it. Put your hand on your chest. Feel the vibrations of your singing. Here, Tiago is right. When you sing the positive, it impacts in the vibrations. I am a child of God. I reincarnated to learn to do good. I'm not God. I don't need to know it all. I don't need to solve the problems of anybody. I don't need to save anybody. I just need to be. Be what? A child of God. And what can I do? Love. And love meaning accept, forgiving. Forgiveness is so important. Are you guilty because sometimes you said bad things about somebody and now you want to be there with the person, but you feel like there is an abyss of guilt or shame because other people know? Humility, my friend. Humility. Humility. So I don't care what other people think. I now think differently. Back then maybe I was right, but now you know what is important? At the end of the day, we're supposed to be together forever. You stay in my heart and I will love you together forever. You stay in my heart. Exactly. We are destined for this. Leon Denis breaks it down in the beautiful book After Death. We're destined to be together. And here he says, humility. Quick settlement. This act of humility preserves our vibrations, avoiding disturbing series of long, repetitive work. It's when you made a mistake and you tell people, sorry. And you say, like Saul Paul, he was not there depressed. It was a journey, but it was a quick journey because he was humble. What a man! Today is Paul of Tarsus Day, actually. 3 minutes ago, it ended the day here in the United States, but Paul of Tarsus, he killed, my friends, and he quickly settled it with humility, saying, I want to learn the new and I want to work to help, period. Humility. Not like, oh, but you see, I want to change, but people don't understand me. They don't give me a chance. And I say, why should people give you a chance? You have to conquer it. Oh, it's hard. To build a bridge is hard. To destroy is easy, but to build it again is even harder. Because then people start being skeptical, like, what's the point of building this bridge if we exploded once? What is the likelihood of doing it again? Right? Yes, it's true, Carol Correa. Paul of Tarsus Day was the very day I didn't mention in the center, but our thoughts of gratitude. Okay? Paul was sorry, as Melissa is saying. He moved on. What an example. Move on. Move on. And this is why the Master of Happiness advised us, not only as a master, but a wise physician. You want a physician? I want a physician. Jesus, please come help me to reconcile with our adversary while we're still together. Taught us how to find happiness that is based on pure love and unlimited forgiveness. How many times should I forgive? 7 times, Master? Peter asked. No. 70 times, 7 times, meaning endless, unlimited. Oh, no, really? Yes, really. Yes, really. You ready, child of God, to feel humble? To feel humble. Let us humble ourselves and say, I love being a child of God. I love it all. I wish I knew that before. I wouldn't feel that anxious or that depressed or that guilty or that devastated, because I would say, why? Let's begin anew. You're feeling the fear of the current days? Don't. God knows. Yes. Because God knows better than I. Right? God knows better than I. Relax. Relax. And enjoy being a child of God, because that role is never going to pass. We're an everlasting child of God. It's the only role that never changes. Never. It's unconditional and unlimited everlasting, a child of God. Let us enjoy. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. And our obsessors too. Tell them, you are children of God. You are children of God. You also live to learn to do good. What an honor, right, Felipe, Melissa, and Rudy? Let us say, Yeehaw! Let us move forward, no guilt, trash it out. Your to-do list is God's list, and open your heart and be happy, because life is about being a child of God, co-creating, being the heirs of this beautiful universe that we await to see what's gonna happen next. Beautiful things always. Big kiss and hug of gratitude. Let's stay together and work this day. Exercises, trashing out guilt, practicing humility, and feeling ourselves as children of God. Tomorrow, today at 11 p.m., we're going to study about assistance, which is a tool to live and lead a life of wellness. Until tomorrow.